everyone. Welcome to TSP Weekly. This is your tech startup podcast for Monday, April the 20th, 2015. Today we are once again recording at Communitech. Good to be back in our old digs here. We haven't recorded here for a little while.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks.
Yeah.
We're in the Bark Mill room today. Happy 420, everybody.
Yes, thank you. Happy 420. What's that all about?
It's April the 20th.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
If you have to ask, you don't know.
I thought there was something special about it. Let's do some introductions here. My name is Darren Conley. I'm a local tech entrepreneur here in Kitchener-Waterloo. And joining me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, fellow tech entrepreneur, Stephen Campbell. How are you today, Stephen?
My shirt matches the color of the room almost today.
Right. Thank you for coordinating yourself
Yes,
so
you're
well.
welcome.
To the
I did
room,
it for Nadia, really. Yep.
It comes across great in audio.
It does, doesn't it? How does my shirt sound today?
Sounds a little blue. Let's introduce our guest. Joining us on today's episode is Miss Nadia Hamilton from Magnusmode. Yes.
Hi.
Welcome, Nadia.
Thank
Great
you for
to have
having me.
No, our pleasure. We have to say... just to tell a little story about how we met Nadia.
Are we doing an aside already?
Yeah, let's do it. So Stephen and I, we play poker occasionally. There's a nice crowd here in the tech scene that likes to do poker games every now and then.
About this master poker player named Nadia Hamilton that they just had to challenge.
That's right. That's exactly it. So we met Nadia at this poker game probably a couple months ago, I think, now when we first met you, right?
Yep.
And she comes in and she says, I've never played before. She was sitting right beside me. Stephen had already been in, playing for a chunk of the evening. And the very first hand that Nadia plays, Stephen had decided to bluff his way all the way to the end.
Right.
And I didn't even know what a bluff was at that point.
And he was in for a huge amount of money. And poor Nadia, the beginner, I'm trying to coach her on what she should do. And Stephen probably wouldn't be playing this way unless he had something good and blah, blah, blah. And so it came down to it.
You made me lose.
I coached Nadia to fold. She did fold. Stephen won the hand, and it turns out Nadia would have won it if she had stayed in. I felt terrible. But the highlight...
Darren made me promise to show my cards, even after she folded, which I agreed to.
And I think the highlight, though, of the evening, or the general highlight of the evening, was every time Nadia got dealt her two cards, whatever cards they were, and before anything came out on the table, she would say, I win!
I'm sorry, I was just so excited.
I thought it was awesome. We tried to explain the concept of poker face, and I don't think it's stuck, but that's great.
To this day, I still don't have a poker face. I just don't.
But you are so expressive and lively, and I think a poker face would just do a disservice to your standard disposition.
Oh, thank you.
So the joke's on us because Nadia played poker last night at the tournament.
Won.
And won.
Yeah,
right?
Which is insane. So who needs a poker face?
Who needs a poker
Big
face
winner.
when you have really good luck?
Yep.
Yes.
Without my bluffing and without Darren's sage advice, you did just fine, it sounds like.
I kept hearing your voices in my head. I'm like, what would Steven do? What would Darren do?
You're probably the only person who ever asked themselves that question, I think. But that's awesome. So Nadia is the founder and CEO of Magnusmode. Nadia, tell us, what is Magnusmode? Usually we can guess something from the name, but this one is a little obscure.
I know. Okay,
Yeah.
so a lot of people say that the name is not totally expressive of what we do.
Okay.
But basically what we do is we leverage mobile technology to help people with cognitive special needs like autism, like my brother who has autism, to live independently in the real world. It's something that you and I take for granted, but it is something that is very, very intrinsic to dignity, to quality of life, and also to happiness.
That's awesome. Now, when you say you leverage technology, are you guys creating computer programs? Are you building hardware? Do you have a range of products available?
Oh, so in the future it's going to be a whole range.
Okay.
Magnusmode wants to create products and services for every single age group because I grew up with somebody with autism. I know where the holes are at each and every stage of development. But for now we're starting with mobile apps. So we have one mobile app. It's called Magnus Cards.
Okay.
And the reason that it's called Magnus Cards and the business is called Magnusmode is because we have this crazy character named Magnus. And he basically gets in all sorts of trouble in all of our products and services. And in this, he's collecting cards to learn life skills.
Oh, okay. And what is Magnus? Is he like a...
Well, he's a wizard.
And he's got a huge red hat. I was really looking forward to seeing the hat today.
Oh, I'm sorry. Because you're on the radio,
Darren
I didn't wear the hat. I always wear the hat, and I didn't wear the hat. You would have liked the hat.
I would have liked the hat.
Have you seen it?
Have you seen my blue shirt with the red hat?
No,
lately?
that would clash.
Yeah, that probably would. You're right.
It clashes with a lot of my outfits, too, but I still have to wear it when I present.
It's so awesome. It looks like a huge Mexican sombrero, but it's red.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's like a pylon, but it's red. Yeah.
It's really cool.
Is there like a photo online of the hat? Maybe
There's
can
lots
post
of
it?
photos
Yeah?
with me of the hat. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll get a hold of a photo with the hat and we can put it up when we post the podcast.
Yeah,
That
and
would
when
be
we have
awesome,
events, like we have people who actually want to try on the hat, like participants.
Yeah,
So like, let
perfect.
me wear the Magnus hat. Okay, there you go.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I think most of us have some idea of what autism is, and or maybe we've seen movies that have portrayed autistic people, but for those out there who are not really sure and maybe a little fuzzy on the details of what that means to be living with autism, can you just fill in some of those gaps for us? And,
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, autism is a spectrum. So it's a spectrum of ability, I like to say. So we like to focus on the positives of all the things that they bring that we can see. Yes, they have different ways of seeing the world, and sometimes that's a challenge, but that doesn't mean that they're any less capable of contributing to society as long as we can basically recognize where they fit, because they fit, but we just have to see where they fit. It's like a giant puzzle.
Right.
But you got people on the higher end of the spectrum of functioning, like people like Rain Man. I don't know if you've seen Rain Man, the movie.
Yeah.
Wapner's on at 7.
Yeah.
Did you say it was on last night at 7?
No, Wapner's on at 7. Night, wasn't it? One of the things he said all the time.
Oh, right.
okay.
Yes.
I thought you said you watched
I went
it.
straight to a direct quote from
Yeah,
Rain
no, that's
Man. I
perfect.
apologize.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I'm a good driver.
Sure.
Rain Man.
So you have the Rain Men, you have the people who are smack dab in the middle, like my brother, who
Okay.
are really good at a lot of things, but then are maybe verbally challenged. They don't express themselves with not normally, but with words as you and I do. They do express themselves.
Sure.
And then you have people who are lower end functioning who need a little bit more support. Maybe they have physical disabilities to accompany their autism, or they have sensory issues. So there's a whole range of supports which makes developing tools very difficult,
Sure.
but there's certain consistencies that
Right.
we capitalize on.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
cool that you focus on.
Yeah.
Can I just ask? So there's a book I read, something like The Case of the Dog That Barked in the Night or something. Do you know this book? I think the reason I ask is because it's a fictional story, but it's written from the first person perspective of a person who I believe was dealing with or living with autism.
Oh, it's
Because-
not from not the dog.
Yeah, no, it's not the
okay.
dog. He's investigating something about a dog throughout the course of the book, and the book isn't really about the dog. Even that, it's about the life of this individual who's dealing with a lot of stuff that has to do with like overloading of sensory input, and routines and wanting things just so right.
The word autism comes from the Greek for self.
Okay.
Because a lot of people with autism are very self-involved. And that sounds bad, but I mean, like, they focus on their world.
Yeah.
So they might, growing up, my brother sometimes would step on my mom when she was on the floor, or he would not notice when we were upset.
Right.
But so a lack of empathy is kind of common, I guess, a common trait. Sensory issues like sensitivity to textures and foods, sound sensitivity.
Yeah.
So you have a whole range of challenges, but usually it boils down to just a different perception of the way the world is.
So you have this sort of spectrum of abilities.
Yeah.
Is there also sort of a time when your product can be best utilized? Because as I understand it, there's a lot of support up through high school, and then all of a sudden there's sort of a desert.
Yeah. So if you've ever seen those Looney Tune cartoons where Coyote's chasing Roadrunner, and then he runs right off the cliff, and then he looks down, and all of a sudden he realizes the ground's done, and then he falls.
Yep.
Literally, that's what people with autism face. They are running and running and running and running, and then they run off a cliff, and there's nothing. When they graduate from high school, they graduate to the couch.
Wow.
It is absolutely pathetic, in my opinion, in this day and age, and a lot of my energy has gone into basically providing a support tool that can continue that development throughout their teenage and adult years.
So you're starting to build a bridge.
Building a bridge, because currently they're on a bridge to nowhere. We want to build actual bridges, make this so much more than an app. Build a bridge to community partners, to activities, to greater involvement in society after graduation. But that doesn't stop people who are still in school from using it. We have a lot of people who are in school who are developing these life skills that can still benefit.
Sure.
Oh, cool. That's really neat.
Now, can you just walk us through your app? Like,
Sure.
what happens when I load it up on my phone, and then what?
Magnus says,
Magnus.
hello, Darren.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah?
Literally, we actually just worked that into the new version, which we're launching today.
Yep.
So
Okay.
Magnus comes up and he says, hello, this is how you play.
Cool.
So he says, okay, what life skills do you want to learn how to do within 12 life skills categories? So we got health, personal care, hygiene, travel, social, arts and culture. We got 12 of them.
Sure.
So you're
and
going
then-
hygiene, Darren, or arts and social, or what would you pick out of that list?
I
What do
can
you think?
afford to work on my hygiene. So
No time.
Let's do
No
it.
time.
Man. Sure. So let's say I select hygiene. Then
Okay.
then what's
So
the next
you
step?
select hygiene, and then you're basically a screen comes up with a lot of cards
Okay.
in hygiene. So maybe you'll have brushing teeth. I don't know if that's an issue you want to work on. I don't know.
Yeah, let's work on that.
Applying deodorant, anything from across the personal hygiene scape. You can
Sure.
also create your own.
Okay.
So we'll get to that. But you
Okay.
select the card that you're looking for from the existing library.
Cool. Yeah, sure.
And then you basically scroll through the card deck with your thumb that walks you through how to do the activity step by step. When you're finished, you get points.
Okay.
So
Oh,
neat.
Magnus awards you with points for practice, for repetition, and eventually for skill mastery.
So the idea is it's giving you a list of steps, and you're supposed to do those steps as you're looking at
Exactly.
each card,
Like
right?
it's the ultimate strategy guide for life. You know the
Okay.
video game strategy guides where you look at the instructions and you play?
Yeah.
This
We
is
do.
you look at
Yeah.
the Why do you say that with guilt in your eyes?
Well, we are playing a game right now, and it's a card game. It's Hearthstone.
Oh, who isn't playing
I'm
that?
playing it because somebody in the Velocity Velocity Garage is doing a startup related to it. I'm like, I
Oh,
should
I've
try
heard
this
of that.
out, right?
I've heard of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hearth.
So Darren
Hearth
is
stats. Yeah.
consistently wiping my. He's beating me.
I'm beating him a lot.
He's beating me a
Let's
lot.
put it that
So he
way.
just shared with me some videos and some card strategy guides.
So
Yes.
because you're playing Hearthstone a lot, because you're basically spending a lot of hours, you probably need to spend more time in the personal hygiene.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And maybe the social. I don't
That's
know.
right.
Yeah,
That's
you
right.
brought it all together. That's perfect.
I like that.
Perfect to bring it back.
So
Yeah.
so that's how you view, and then you can
Okay.
create your own, which
Okay.
is really cool for parents and educators, or even community partners like the Royal Ontario Museum are creating card decks on how to go to the ROM, or
Wow.
Kitchener Public
Awesome.
Library, how to go to the Kitchener Public Library, or
Wow.
Grand River Transit, how to take the bus.
Sure. That's
So then,
awesome.
do you
Yeah.
use the points to buy more cards, or all the cards free,
Okay.
or what do I get? So I've got 1,000 Magnus points now.
Okay, so we are basically in discussions with these partners to get discounts on movie tickets or at Loblaws on your groceries or chips or whatever. So we're working that into our partner discussions so that these are encouraging people to go out and do these activities in real life.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Neat.
Which I'm sure is an awesome kind of opportunity for a lot of these businesses and organizations to have the chance to contribute to the well-being of people who are dealing with these other life situations, people with
Yeah.
autism, and they can publicize that they're making life easier and making their businesses more accessible and so on.
There's
right?
three
Yeah.
reasons, I guess, that a business would partake. One would be there's a large on-top market that is just on the outskirts of society waiting to get in.
Right.
And they're not invited. So why not basically effectively train new visitors? Number two, there's accessibility standards that nobody is really up on. So the
Right.
AODA in Canada,
Yep.
there's nothing like there's clauses in there for cognitive special needs that people aren't abiding by. And number three would be to basically make your environment more universal visitor experience.
Right.
Ooh, nice. Nice wordsmithing.
Yeah, that's
Enhance your-
amazing.
I like that.
Perfect.
A word ninja.
It's great. Now, Nadia, you mentioned your brother a few times here. Now, do you? Is he involved in the development of your products? Are you kind of testing your apps on him? To
So
see
Troy
how he
is the
does? Yeah.
Troy. His name is Troy, like the
Troy,
city.
yep, absolutely.
He's the lead product tester.
Oh,
so
awesome.
although I've lived here in Kitchener for about I think it's almost a year now.
Okay.
I go home many weekends to Toronto.
Okay.
And we try out new features with Troy. We work on card decks surrounding issues that are important to him, like health. So
Right.
he goes to the health category and he does the workout.
Sure.
with the
That's
workout
cool.
cards every day, and then he comes upstairs and he's all buff and he's so self-confident, and you can
Right.
see it like just like a normal person after they work out. They're just so, you just feel better, and you're managing your own health, and you're taking ownership. There's nobody there over you saying, do this, do that, do this. As a matter of fact, you're helping somebody else. You're helping Magnus to learn. So it's empowering.
I think I could use it for myself. Like, it would be cool to wake up every day and say, here's my deck, and I'm going to pull out 3 cards, right?
Yeah.
And I have to do my workout, and I have to socially connect with 3 people I haven't talked to in a while, and I have to do some hygiene. Like, I'm going to get a haircut after this.
You know
what I mean? So there's 3 things, 3 cards that they're almost like a to-do list or a reminder just for me.
But I seriously wonder if you could not apply this. I don't know if I'm throwing out business ideas to you here or not, but like for people who are like really, really shy and actually need to have some step-by-step instructions on how to overcome their social anxiety of talking to a stranger or meeting somebody new.
So you have a sort of interaction deck.
Well, there's definitely a broader application. We're in talks with some school boards who want to apply this across the school board, not just their special needs classroom. So it's anybody developing these life skills, anybody who needs that assistant in whatever category. It's like having a personal sidekick. Right. And everybody needs a sidekick.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
so, Troy is your muse for this, or your inspiration. Yeah. How did you get? What was the genesis of the card idea? Like, how did that come to fruition for you?
To be honest, I think it was we play a lot of video games. We're video game kind of fanatics. My whole family. I have 4 other siblings. We all play video games.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you guys play?
Final Fantasy is the best. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna break the microphone.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
But Final Fantasy is the best. That's one of our all-time favorites.
Final Fantasy 7 or
which Final
7
Fantasy?
is really good.
Yeah.
3 is really good too.
Yep.
3 is my favorite.
3 is your favorite.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's the Japanese 5. 5 is in Japanese.
Yep.
Right.
And then I'm really into shooters these days. So Call of Duty. I'm the queen of headshots. Resident Evil. I can go around a corner. I just go around the corner. Pew, headshot down. I beat all of my brothers.
Wow. That's awesome.
Gears of War. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gears of War,
so it's like Xbox and stuff. Is your like
Xbox,
console of
PlayStation,
choice?
whatever.
Oh,
Doesn't
you
matter.
do it all. Eh?
Yeah.
Wow. You know, I thought.
But yeah, the card collection idea. Sorry to go back.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Pokemon.
Yes, sorry.
Oh, Pokemon.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you played any Hearthstone yet?
Not yet. Not
You should
yet.
try it out.
I might be able to beat her
I'm
one.
worried about losing my soul. And when I sit down there, I'm not going to get up. I'm just going to stay playing that game.
Yeah, it's fun.
It is a little bit addictive. It's true.
You can get in and out of a game fairly 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, depending on who
really?
you're playing.
Oh, okay.
Yep, so you can
That's
sort of
not
say,
bad.
I'm going to play 3 games today.
That's a lot better than what we did like with level gaining marathons. Like we would sit there for like 7 hours.
Wow.
Like literally, okay, time to eat. Okay, bring it down.
Yeah.
Bring it down. Let's go.
Just hold the chicken nugget in front of my mouth.
Yeah.
And this is like
Exactly.
you and all your brother and sister like play together and stuff?
Cousins, everybody. Like we just
Wow.
all play. Yeah,
That's
Gran
awesome.
Turismo. If there's
Wow.
like a 50 lap, I'm doing 5. Then I pass the controller. Go, 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 go. You do 5 laps.
And are you guys all like grown? Like none of you are kids,
well,
right?
we're all around the same age. Yeah. Well,
Wow.
my youngest brother is he's 20. He's up there. Yeah.
Okay, that's really
He's old
cool.
enough.
Actually,
That
like
is
I've never heard of a family that like can play together that way.
Oh
like,
my gosh,
for
Christmas
games
is
at
the
least.
best time because everybody comes together and we all just what game's next?
Yeah.
Pop it in. Let's go.
Family that games together stays together.
That is
Exactly.
that is really awesome. Okay, so you're playing games together, and somehow this developed into
And Pokemon. Pokemon was really cool. And not only that, like growing up, what we did with my brother is we used these kind of like cue cards around. We posted them to the walls,
Right.
literally
Right.
of our apartment.
Yeah.
So they were in a sense cards already.
Oh,
so we
okay,
just
cool.
decided to kind of put it together in a flashcard kind of thing. And then I'm like, well, we can gamify it like Pokemon.
That's awesome.
Excellent. Yeah. Now, I've often heard that people who have autism really connect well with video games, actually, right? Have you
Yeah.
found that to be your experience with your brother?
It literally, yes, it was. So like growing up, like that is what we used to basically sit him down and be with us
Sure.
and do things with us because he was so much in his own space.
Yeah.
And when he was playing the video games with us, of course, he'd have to use the official strategy guide or else he wasn't playing.
Right.
Like literally, it was a way for him to be in the group, to be a part, and interact with us. Like he would climb up. I remember he would climb up sometimes my brother's bunk bed with his bottle.
Right.
He had a bottle, and he would hit him on the head.
Wow.
And then he would give him a controller.
Yeah.
Time to play.
Come on. Yeah.
Let's go.
Engagement. That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
really
mean, he
neat.
was so into it, and he still is. Like the
Yeah.
DS is huge for him.
Sure.
He loves those walkthroughs on YouTube.
Right.
He loves the walkthroughs. It's the structure. It's the guidance that allows him to act on his play it on his own.
It's such an exciting thing for me to be a part of, like TSP Weekly, where we meet such intelligent people that look at
thank you.
It's cool, right? Like you've seen a problem, and you're using technology, and you're using, instead of saying, "Oh, video games are pushing him away into his own world," you're saying that's where he is. Let's be intelligent about it.
Let's go to his world.
Exactly, right? So it's so cool. I think it's really neat.
And
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I think it would be so cool too, and I don't know how much of this is going on, if it's going on already, but to see like kind of the gaming world or the game development world embrace people like your brother, or people maybe with other kind of different sensory situations, because they have that gateway into those people's way of thinking already, right?
Right.
Why not create some more products that can enhance the life quality and their ability to function with the rest of society in better ways. And I think you're taking the first steps with this, it sounds like, with Magnusmode.
Yeah.
And hopefully you can inspire some more people
my
to
gosh,
jump in
I
there
want
too.
a Nintendo game. Like we want to grow. Like literally, that's where I see this going. I see it like growing into a whole. All these gaming avenues and leveraging that gaming technology and its different forms to help draw them out.
Sure.
What do the numbers look like? Like if you're focusing sort of on autism, how many people in Canada or North America are experiencing that spectrum?
6.3 million in North America are cognitive special needs. So that's acquired brain injury, that's autism, that's Asperger's. It's the whole spectrum.
Right.
And worldwide, that's 200 million.
Wow.
So there's huge population in Asia. I was actually in Asia a couple months ago, in Vietnam, and I'll be in New York in 2 weeks because there's a huge concentration in New York of organizations and people that are affected by autism. And it's really, really interesting how it's just so widespread, but nobody knows what the genus is.
Sure. Wow. Now, can you take us back to the start of this? You explained a little bit of your inspiration. How long ago did you decide this is the thing I'm going to do?
With my life?
Build? Yeah.
I think it was around the time that I graduated from university, and I was at a co-op placement. I was bored. I graduated from U of T with a degree in history and political science, and I hated what I was doing. Although I love history, I love political science, but I was in the co-op, and I'm just like, oh, this is not for me. Yeah. The only thing I really want to do is, and this is what I did throughout university, I worked with people affected by autism, and I was like, the only thing I really want to do is work with these people and help them. And I think there's a way that we can help them on a broader scale and improve their lives. So I heard about this competition through the Center for Social Innovation called Project Wildfire. And it's basically, if you have an idea, enter and you can win funding. Okay. And I did. And I got my brothers together. We made a video.
Awesome.
We got votes online, and then we went through this whole judging panel thing, and I won, and I cried, and then we just started.
Wow,
that's great.
And when did that happen? How long ago?
Oh, that was actually in 2011.
Okay,
but I was still working full time I had a job at Ernst & Young actually. Okay, and then I left that a while later, and I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to do this, I got to do it.
Right.
Yeah. Right. I've heard that from a couple people that it was sort of shit or get off the pot time. Several of them.
Are you allowed to say that?
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, I think that's our second
it's your
swear
show,
word,
right?
maybe.
So
it's all good.
You can do what you want.
Poo or get off the pot.
So okay, that's awesome. So you decided you're going to go full speed ahead on this. And did you, I'm assuming you're not writing the code for this yourself? Did you go out and hire some people right away, or find a team?
I actually outsourced the first development of the very rough draft to China.
Oh, wow.
On Odesk.
Okay.
That was an experience. And while we got back exactly what I wanted, it was just I had no idea what I was doing at that time. I overloaded this thing with features, and then we tested it with members from Autism Ontario, and they were like, well, we only got kind of this small little part that you got here. Get rid of all the rest.
Right.
And so we ended up iterating and just streamlining it down. And just keep testing and iterating and testing and iterating. And it's gotten so simple. And now people are saying the strength, the power is really in the simplicity of the tool.
Wow. Now, you say we, what does your team look like right now?
Oh, well, right now we have a full-time tech lead, John, who's amazing, and we have business support officer, Siobhan, and we have a couple of volunteers.
Oh, and yourself?
And myself, of course.
And Troy.
That's great.
And Troy.
And were they all in it right from the beginning as well? Or did
no,
you have to
so
recruit them?
those two are recent, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so for the longest time, I was doing everything by myself,
wow.
Which was really tough because again, I had no business background. I'm a little bit of a control freak where I'm like, oh, I could do it. I'll just do it because it's going to be at my standard anyway.
Sure.
Then I got mentorship and they're like, okay, if you want something done properly, you're going to have to focus on your strengths and then get somebody who's better at it than you are.
To fill in all
Which
those
is true.
gaps,
And it
right?
was hard for me.
Right.
It was very hard to let go.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
still
humbling
struggling
too,
with
right?
that. Yeah.
Like, oh,
You
okay.
mean there are better people for the job? Okay.
And I'm assuming you got some more funding arranged as along the way, or
Yeah, so I mean, we just recently closed a funding round with G10, the Golden Triangle Angel Network.
Right.
That was, I am from Scarborough. I do not have a business background. Every single thing that I've gone through has been absolutely mind-blowing. Okay, G10 pitching in front of these angels. I didn't even know what an angel was.
Winning poker last night.
All of this stuff is just amazing. And so we close around. We have fantastic investors, and we have a board now,
Wow,
which is really cool.
Yeah.
So somebody you can bounce ideas off of and hold you accountable for all your great ideas that you're...
Exactly. And the first board meeting I had, I'm like, I feel like Bruce Wayne, because Bruce Wayne, the Batman, he reported to a board.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Not that I'm as rich as him, but
Is that your secret identity then now? It's going to be Bruce Wayne?
well, I
Batman?
love Batman. So comic freak too.
I thought you were taking our backdoor way of telling us you're a superhero in your spare time or something. There.
I
But
wish.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, in her full time, I think.
Yeah, maybe, right? That's amazing.
Mrs. Magnus.
Mrs. Magnus is Magnolia. She's gonna
okay.
make her debut soon.
Oh, cool.
Oh.
So who's done that? Who's made all the marketing and all the creation of all those
To
sort of
date,
ideas?
it's been me, and then we contracted out like an illustrator. But I designed the character. Actually, Troy helped.
Yep. So you did most of that brainstorming yourself?
Yeah, and drawing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's really neat.
Wow, that's incredible. Now it sounds like you've had like a fair measure of success so
Well,
far,
thank
which
you.
is great.
There's a lot to do.
No, of course,
A lot
of
to
course.
do.
So I wanted to ask, I know when you're trying to make things happen in the business world, definitely like your own personality and your energy are a big part of making that happen. At the same time, we've interviewed now, Stephen and I, a lot of people on the podcast. We have a lot of men, and we have a lot of white guys, right? And and so we have then we have you. What was the oh?
I thought I went too loud. Okay, sorry.
No, you're good. Be as loud as you like. So to have someone like yourself, so you have kind of the African background, ethnic background. You're a woman, like both of these kind of major check marks in minority categories for doing a tech startup, right? Have you found that to be any level of extra challenge, or have you found it to be like maybe even a benefit to you in getting more attention?
Interesting
or notice?
question. Well, I definitely stand out around here.
Yeah, sure.
You don't see many black women tech, CEOs. So,
Yeah.
You don't meet many people with your personality, too. Like, I don't know that I
true.
first think women or black when I meet you. It's like, wow, holy smokes, right?
Yes,
Like, I knew you were in the building before I saw you.
oh my gosh,
Just
were you
today.
calling me loud?
I heard you laughing.
Oh,
it was great. You light up a room, right? So
true.
that's sort of the first foot. But yeah.
Yeah.
What have you experienced?
Honestly, to be honest, I really haven't thought of it either. Like,
Really? That's
it's not
awesome.
something that I meet people, I meet investors or I meet people in the general area, and it's not something like I'm not walking towards them thinking, well, I'm a black woman and
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and talk to this white man.
Right,
Like, it's not something I'm really thinking about. I'm not conscious of it. It's just like, oh, there's a guy.
Right.
Let's just go talk to him. Or there's a woman. I want to talk to her. She looks interesting.
But
And I
that's-
don't think they're thinking about it either.
Yeah.
I really don't. I just don't get that impression.
That's
I don't know.
awesome. That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
I'm very happy that it is. And it just makes me wish that we had more black women, especially people with your energy and your, that kind of drive around, because I think a lot of times people think, oh, I'm not fitting the typical mold, so I'm probably not going to be so successful.
Well, that kind of attitude I just don't understand that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, if you want to do something, just do it.
Right.
Like, don't think of all the things that could possibly hold you back. You're the only thing that can hold you back.
Yeah, I was
Literally.
thinking about which side you eat your shredded wheat on earlier. So some of us
We were talking about that earlier. That's true.
some of us have to think about things a little more than
I
to
don't
just
know,
do it.
why
right?
not? Why not? Like,
Yeah.
what am I, all of my heroes are just people who just did it.
Right.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Right.
Like, you know, like Muhammad Ali. I love Muhammad Ali, the boxer.
Yeah.
And I was just watching
Float like a butterfly.
Float like a
sting
butterfly.
like a bee.
Rumble, young man, rumble. Ah! So I love it. Like, he was just so outspoken, and you just went after it. You just got to go for what you want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's awesome. So I lost my train of thought in the story here. So you've got your team, you've got your funding, you're working on the product. Like, where are things going now? Like, what's the next step in the growth of Magnusmode?
The next step is building the community.
Okay.
So we are partnering. Like, this month alone, I had conversations with over 70 organizations across North America on Skype.
Wow. Yeah.
So, and 85% have said yes, that they're going to be signing up their members.
Wow.
Like, this is tens of thousands of people.
Yeah.
And so we're now making this package that we can send out to them to help them to sign up easily and effectively. So that's the next step specifically.
But when you say signing up for what? Like, what are they doing when they sign up?
Oh, so they're signing up their members for Magnus Cards, and then they're going to be using them to go out and enhance their life skills programs that they already have. So they have stuff where they teach them how to cook, how to go to the library, etc. So they're now going to use this program to basically structure it.
Okay.
So that's for the organizations. And then for our corporate partners, just seeking them within the regions of these organizations and marrying the two. So the region of Windsor has members using, Community Living Windsor has members using Magnus Cards. So let's get a museum in Windsor, library in Windsor, transit organization in Windsor to make the cards for them to use.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So then they can use their points with those organizations, or they can go to those places to practice those skills.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Chudley's Apple Farm, for example, comes to mind.
Yeah, it's transforming these community environments into social learning opportunities.
Wow.
That's
and
neat.
how do you find the time to have all these phone calls? And
I don't
make all these
sleep. No.
like, that's crazy. Yeah.
You just, I guess, like, I'm learning how to manage my time better and work smarter.
Sure.
I think that it's a challenge for all entrepreneurs, like, because you want to do all this other stuff, but I literally have to force myself to set aside time to make these calls. It's important.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's the control of the entrepreneur, and you want to do it all, but you want to do it yourself, and there's only one of you, right?
Exactly.
Or two of you. So
And then it would get to the point where it's like 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, oh, I didn't finish everything on my list. I'm like, because I'm not working smart.
Right.
I'm wasting time during the day. I have to be a machine.
So are you using? Maybe you could have a productivity card or deck.
Exactly. That's a good idea.
Are
It's
you
a really
using,
good idea.
Are you eating your own dog food? Are you using your own product? Troy tests it, but do you use it?
I don't use it that often, except for, I live it kind of, but I don't go into there and use it during the. I don't really have time to use it.
Right.
But yeah, I should probably use a productivity
We
card.
need one for startups, right? All the skills you need for doing the
Startup deck.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool.
Right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, because social entrepreneurship is actually is growing in the autism community. Like, you have people who are starting businesses about cleaning, and stuff like that, and in areas of interest. So that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, business plan and partnership agreement and bank account and
Because there is a
all those kind of
lot.
things,
It's a lot to learn. A lot more than I ever thought it was going to be.
It is. It is a lot. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I had read an article, and this is just like my hazy brain coming up with something here, but I had read something about like members of the Silicon Valley tech community wanting to connect more with people who are living with autistic spectrum, for like their, I guess maybe more the savant level for like programming, like being able to effectively create like good software, because they could be like uniquely talented in creating things that the average person is not able to put together in that way, right? And it just made me think, like, wouldn't it be cool if you could have like some autistic programmers that are involved at some point in the enhancement and further development of your own product.
Oh man, I'd love nothing more than that, for sure. I'd love to employ people who are programmers or art. I'm actually interviewing an artist who has autism.
Wow.
So definitely, I would love to do that. It's just.
So if you're a savant programmer, call Nadia.
Yeah. Right. Or if you know somebody. Yeah.
Yep. She's hiring.
I'm a savant.
Wow, that's very cool. I wanted to ask too. So you're making these connections with community organizations. Like, where is this heading in the future? Then, like, are you You want a line of other products to be made. Have you put any thought into what some of those other products might be yet?
Yeah. I mean, I have a roadmap on my bedroom wall of where I think we're going. And my advisors, like the investors who've come into the company, are poking holes in some of the long-term strategy. One of the things that we did, I was in Vietnam a couple months ago, and they actually contracted us out there to help them plan a diagnostic tool for autism, because there's really nothing over there.
Right.
And then they saw Magnus and they love the character, so they kind of want to basically put that into their diagnostic tool. So there's a whole licensing type second phase we can look at.
Wow.
Also, there's all sorts of opportunities for branding and merchandising. So it could be clothing that teaches you how to coordinate.
Right.
Or there's so much existing technology that we could leverage as well.
Right.
Communication tools. Like there's so much need. There's
Wow.
so much need. And also a need for the communication across all of the touch points.
Right.
So parents, supporters, one-on-one providers, teachers, everybody who supports the individual, there's no communication between them. So
You must have a big challenge doing a lot of the education as well as building the tool, right?
Oh gosh. So the education as well. So every single community partner that we partner with, I go in there and I talk to the staff and I talk to the managers and I show them, hey, people might be using this card set. This is what you could expect.
Right.
And I tell them about autism and I tell them about special needs, because there's awareness. That awareness piece has to be there in order for them to be fully able to support the individual to use their services as well.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Wow, that's amazing. That sounds like just a lot of telling people the same things over and over, right? I don't know, like the education side of it, at least. Yeah,
it's a lot, but I think with every single person that we talk to and everybody that we build awareness with, and sometimes I'm able to even point out people when I'm talking to them. Look, this is what it might look like.
Yeah.
Even sometimes
She's pointing
Troy
at Darren
comes.
right now.
Troy comes too. I'm not.
listen to
And
this.
Troy comes out sometimes to meetings.
Yeah.
And they're able to meet him and see how wonderful he is.
Sure.
And how much he lights up the room. And to see that connection built between them, even just one person, is a huge step. It's a huge step.
Is your whole family as expressive as you? I'm just imagining a whole house full of people like this. And
Christmas dinner?
It seems a little overwhelming almost.
Hey, are you saying I'm overwhelming?
No, in a good way.
No, we're all pretty different across. My sister is very quiet.
Oh, okay.
My sister is very calm and subdued, and you can't win an argument with her though.
Right.
Don't even try. Don't even try.
Okay.
Because she's very, very quick and very clever.
Sure.
My oldest brother is also very quiet.
Interesting.
And he'll do anything for us. I'm just like, Justin, I have to go to volleyball in the morning. Come drive me. Okay, whatever. Just anything to get me to shut up, I guess.
Wow.
And then my youngest brother is just, he's just hilarious. He's a comedian.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we're just across,
see
just a
that.
normal family kind of.
That's great.
That loves to play video games together and stuff. No, that's great.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That is neat.
Yeah. Well, listen, we have to. I think we almost forgot about this. We got to throw in a thing for our sponsor.
Oh, yeah.
Who is your sponsor?
We get so wrapped up in talking to you, Nadia.
Yeah.
So we are being sponsored by Igloo Software these days.
Yep.
And Igloo Software is, they have a wonderful intranet platform that they market to medium and even large businesses, and even small businesses could take advantage of it as well. So we want to let you guys just listen to a few Igloo employees talking about what their platform is all about and how easy it is to use. So take a listen to this.
When you use our product, you should be able to use it right away.
Igloo is kind of like a big box of Lego. If you know how to use it, you can turn it into anything you want.
You don't have to have a giant crew to work with Igloo. You can just turn it on and it just works.
The good thing about Igloo is that it's not forcing you to learn how to use the platform. The platform learns how to be used by you.
I mean, my life could be drowning in paperwork, but instead I have one platform to keep my life organized.
Igloo, an intranet you'll actually like.
I really like how they talk about the Lego blocks and how it's so simple and you can do whatever you want with it. So
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very cool.
Lego is actually really huge in the autism community. Like everybody that I've ever worked with, because I worked with, I don't know, over 20 people personally throughout university. I went to their homes, and this is how I got another insight to how people are living with autism.
Yeah.
Because I went to different people's homes. I helped them with everything from doing laundry to calling mom when they came home from school. And I just love them. They're still very close to me. It's interesting how they all loved Lego.
Yeah.
Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh, yeah.
Video games.
Yes.
Super Mario. Yeah.
You know, you mentioned Thomas the Tank Engine. So my son was really into Thomas when he was young. He's 5 years old now.
Okay.
And but
Hi,
when he was
Caleb.
like 2, yeah, thank you.
Shout out to Caleb.
When he was like 2, he was really into Thomas, and I'd never watched Thomas. I'd never, seen anything about Thomas. It's bigger, I think, in the UK than it is in Canada. But when my son was into it, I started reading about him and found out that Thomas is like hugely popular in the autistic community, right?
He is.
And it's because of the facial expressions.
Yeah, of the trains.
Yeah.
Trains. They love trains.
Yeah, the trains and being able to read the emotions of these faces that are on the trains, like it's in
Those
a way
faces
that
always creep me out. I
Yeah.
hated them.
Well, I know, and I thought I never saw the appeal myself, but I guess maybe
More of a Teletubbies guy, or
I have watched some Teletubbies with my son as well. It's true. But like, I guess there's something about being able to read and understand the facial expression of these trains in a way that you can't get. Maybe it's just delivered in a much more digestible format
Right.
than trying to interpret, in a real life situation where you have so much stimulus from different.
Well, a lot of people with
places and
autism have difficulty looking people in the eyes.
Right.
For some reason. My brother had that problem, but he kind of phased out of that. That's another thing with autism, is that some of the behaviors, they are actually grow out of it as they age up. So another thing, for example, he used to have issues with was he used to eat everything off of white plates.
Right.
And now he's okay with a little stripe. He's okay with that. So we go to
good.
restaurants and they bring the food in to be like on this colorful plate. I'm like, oh, sorry, you got to take it back. First of all, it's not on a white plate. Second of all, it's not hot enough. It's going to
Right.
be piping hot. So I know all these little things about him.
Does it have
that-
to be segregated, each food type as well? Like
Yes.
separated? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So-
I was actually that way as a child too.
Oh, really?
I could eat off of different colored plates, but I didn't want this one thing
you
touching.
don't want your
this other
peas
thing,
touching your
right?
mashed potatoes.
Yeah, it's true.
That's why we're all on the autism spectrum in a
It's
way.
true.
We're all on
Yeah.
the spectrum. I have
Yeah.
things about me that are just so weird
Yeah,
that you wouldn't believe.
Even though I can't understand how people eat cake and ice cream on the same plate. I think that's the
Oh,
most insane
Really?
That's
thing in
natural.
the
where
world.
we're going
That's
right now?
natural.
I'm just saying.
No, you're
I'm
just weird.
saying,
You're
man.
weird if you don't like that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't want soggy cake, man. I want them completely separate. Anyway. Yeah, so, sorry, where were we going
And
with
that's
that?
another
Yes.
thing. That is another thing.
Yeah.
People with autism, okay, fine. They have certain things that they're, quote, picky about.
Sure.
But then, and somebody will like, oh, that kid is so picky. That guy's so picky. But then, oh, well, you know what? I want a cup of water with a little bit of lemon, not too much, and a little bit. And then
Yeah.
they'll be picky themselves.
Sure.
And yet they can't even fathom that somebody might have different tastes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? A particular taste. So it's about, I guess, seeing yourself through other people's perspectives and seeing that you have traits that are off the wall too.
Yeah,
And
sure.
just because they're more normal doesn't mean that you're that person with autism should be less accepted.
I really
Yeah,
like how you describe
absolutely.
it as a spectrum.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I think that's really accurate.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I think my wife often looks at me and thinks there's something different going on in my brain because so here, maybe I hope this isn't too personal to be sharing, but like I have a set order that when you're getting ready to getting ready in the morning, right? I always want to have like breakfast first, then my shower, then brush your teeth, do your hair, do all those things, and then
Routine.
get dressed after that. And it makes sense logically because like I want to have. Got to think here. I want to brush my teeth after I eat, not before, because I don't want it affecting, the way my food is going to taste. And I want to get dressed after I brush my teeth, because if I drip toothpaste on my clothes, then it stains, and I've had that happen before, and I don't want toothpaste on my clothes. So that means I have to shower before that, because you get dressed, of course, after you have to shower. So I have this set order. My
What, do
wife
you get
is
up
like,
at 3 a.m. to get all this done?
No, I do get up early though. But my wife is always like, why can't you like have breakfast after your shower or something? Like, who cares?
Live a little, buddy.
And then
Live
you're like,
a
this
little.
is the way I like it. it.
No,
this is
I'm
the way
like,
it has to be.
This is the way it makes the best sense. Like, why would I do it any differently? This is the optimal, whatever.
Yeah.
And my life will not end if I have to, do it in a different order. But really, like, every day I typically follow that order of events, right? So I'm sure that's. Even if I'm dipping a toe in the spectrum a little bit more in that direction, like this is how it's manifesting, right? Something along
Here's
these
something
lines,
for you.
right?
When you go home, look up when you get out of the shower and you have your towel.
Yeah.
What body part do you dry off first? Has
Okay.
a lot says a lot about who you are, what you are, something
Does
like
it
that. So
really?
look that up. Yeah,
This is the new
Google that.
personality
Yeah.
What
test?
is yours,
Yeah,
Steven?
I think I go hair first.
Really?
What does
It's
that
the
mean?
wettest or
What does
something,
that
right?
mean?
I don't know, but I remember it means something.
I
And
thought
it's
you
really,
researched it.
Yeah, I did. It was a while ago.
Oh, okay.
But if
think
you
I
like,
do
if you go to
face.
your,
I think I'm face
if you go
first.
face, or if you go
Yeah.
chest,
I'm
or if you
face.
go,
Yeah,
I'm
face.
face.
I want the
That-
water out of my eyes, out of my
Yeah,
Yeah.
you might walk into something.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
dangerous.
in the shower.
Totally.
Yes.
Just try to steer us back on topic now, Darren.
Yeah, it's true. It's the problem is we're having too much fun. We can't stay on topic in this
We got
situation.
on to talking about the shower.
We're walking around in the
body
shower now.
parts.
It's true. Well, and it reminds me of our bonus question for the lightning round, which we're coming up on
Lightning round.
doing here. Yes, the lightning round. We should actually probably move into that segment of the podcast here. We're coming up on 45 minutes, and anyway, so let's do that.
I've got a bunch.
I can't
yeah.
remember who did it last time.
I don't know. I've got a whole bunch here. If you want to throw some,
right,
around.
yeah.
we could go back and forth.
Yeah, go for it.
So this is the lightning round. We're going to ask you 10 quick questions, and just throw us whatever first comes to your mind.
We haven't. There's no prizes. I'm sorry, but hopefully we have
Other
a little
than
bit of fun.
fame and adoration.
Yeah, sure.
Number one. To
Yep.
me, an entrepreneur is someone who
Is a little bit crazy.
is a little bit crazy. Awesome.
Excellent. I'll throw this one out at you. Give one piece of advice for new startups in 5 words or less.
Be aggressive.
Wow, 2 words. That might
And
be
that
a
was
record.
quick. That was
actually.
very aggressive. She doesn't need
Yeah.
5 words, bro.
No, I don't think anybody else has boiled it down to 2 words before.
Really?
That's amazing. Yeah,
Yay,
that's perfect.
world
yeah.
record.
That's awesome. Okay,
Excellent. Go for it,
here's
Stephen.
one. I'm paying for 3 top-notched employees tomorrow to join your company. Who are you hiring?
Operations person.
Mm-hmm.
Marketing and salesperson.
Yep.
Marketing and salesperson. That's 3.
Oh,
Okay, so a marketing person, a salesperson, and an operations
Yeah.
person. Awesome.
perfect. Okay, my next question is: what is one startup skill that you feel you need to get better at?
Time management and organization and.
We'll give you some leeway on the one.
Oh, you
skill.
said 1. Okay. Sorry.
No, that's cool. That's cool. That's why you bring other people in to help you. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
You're in a poker tournament. It's a $100 poker tournament. It's the first hand
okay.
of this poker tournament, and somebody puts you all in. You have 2 queens. Do you go all in on the first hand of this $100 poker tournament,
I
or
don't
do you
have the
fold?
cheat sheet here. I don't know.
I don't know that there's a right
wait,
answer, but 2 queens. Are you going all in, or are you folding on the first hand?
Going all
I'm
into
going all
calling
in.
somebody else's all in.
You're going all
Wait,
in.
how much is it?
$100.
$100 for
Oh,
a
okay.
poker tournament. So yeah,
Okay, all in.
awesome.
2 queens is pretty good, right?
You win.
Really? Sure. Yes. As long as I hear those words, I'm good.
That's awesome. Okay. Fill in the blank. Let's do this one. Fill in the blank. If I could have any drink in my hand right now, apart from the coffee that you brought into the room, what would it be?
Lemonade.
Lemonade?
Lemonade.
Nice choice.
That
It's a
cool,
very happy
refreshing
sounding
drink.
drink. How many questions is that so far? 6?
Keep going. I like this
I don't know.
Yeah.
How about
Take my
you have the power to change one thing in the world: hunger, cancer, climate change, inequality of pay, peace in the Middle East. What are you doing? And you can pick one of those, or you can do a new one.
But only one.
Only
you
one
can't
thing.
fix everything.
Oh. I mean, I would say that I want to. I mean, what we're doing, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't want to eradicate autism because I don't think it's a disease.
Right.
I do think it needs to be understood better and supported. So I think that something that's a problem that I would eradicate would be maybe poverty.
Okay.
I don't like poverty.
Poverty does suck.
How'd you
It's
do it?
sad. I don't
ideas?
know. I don't know how I would do it, but
Give
I don't
everybody
like.
some money and some food.
Yeah. Yeah, give everybody some money and some food.
I think that would
And
work.
education.
Sure.
There you
They
go.
need education.
Right?
Sure.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Okay, so my question is this the 10th question?
No,
How many
keep
have we
going.
done? We'll do. I'll do one more. You do.
I'll
one
do
more,
one more, and then
we'll do the
yeah.
bonus. Okay.
Okay.
So, your Magnusmode gets bought out by Google for, let's say, like $300 million.
Okay.
What is the first purchase you're going to make with your share of the buyout money?
To be honest, I'm not really a purchasing person.
Yeah,
You know,
a material possessions
Yeah,
person?
I'm
Yeah.
not like I barely go shopping.
No, you could
but
spend
I
it on
think
a
I would-
trip. You could spend it on some new video games.
New controller for PS4.
I think
Yeah.
the first thing that I would do is ask either my brother what he wanted
Okay.
or my
Awesome.
nieces.
So you would buy gifts.
I like buying gifts.
That's
my
awesome.
nieces. I would love to when they turn 18. I dream of this. I want to buy them a car, their
Wow.
first car.
Wow.
So, but
That'd be awesome.
yeah.
I almost wish I was one of your nieces now. I could
Oh, I
use a new
spoiled
car.
them rotten. Trust me.
So what?
Perfect, yeah.
Here's my last question for you then. What's so far? You've had some traction. You're doing well. You've got a good team around you. What's the biggest hurdle that you've had to jump so far to get to the point you are?
I guess the biggest hurdle is, okay, I'm very impatient, first of all. And sometimes when I reach out to organizations who are, they're understaffed, they're very busy, and maybe they're set in the way that they're doing things already. It's sometimes I got a little bit frustrated at the pace
Right.
of them, setting up meetings and meeting with them, and then like they have to go through this whole bureaucratic structure that would get to me.
Right.
But I've learned to pace it out so that I'm not stressing them out and I'm saying, well, do it now, come on. I'll reach out to them and like, okay, well, if I reach out to them here in 3 months, maybe they'll be ready. So I'm just kind of scheduling that in, but I get very, very impatient with that sort of stuff, but it's not their fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a lean startup, right?
Yeah.
So you can do things as you wish.
Exactly.
Well, and
but
it makes
we
sense.
still have to move forward. We always have to be progressing. And
Yeah.
I feel this, there's a timer in my hands too, because look, my brother's not going to be young forever. Like I'm not going to be able to do this forever. So we have to keep going forward.
Right.
And that's sort of what I'm thinking about.
Awesome.
But that
Really
makes
cool.
sense. You have the go personality, right? And when other people can't keep up, I can understand the
Oh,
the
trust me,
frustration.
it comes
Yeah.
out in many aspects.
Sure.
Oh gosh, that sounded wrong. Take that back. Whatever.
Just think about that for a minute, Darren.
Don't think too hard. Don't
Yeah,
think too hard.
don't
Yeah,
look too
no,
far into it.
perfect. Okay, so my final question, the bonus question we'd like to throw at lots of people for research purposes is toilet paper, fold or scrunch?
What? I don't want to answer that.
What?
We have a pass. Our
gonna-
second pass.
You're gonna mess up our whole demographic research.
Oh my
Fold,
gosh.
scrunch, or pass, I think, right?
Yeah, pass is the third option.
Yeah.
All right.
My parents might listen to this, okay? My grandparents.
What?
Oh,
what-
kidding.
do you really care if they know whether
My
you fold or
grandmother
scrunch?
is she has a high, classy, proprietous nature.
All right. All
I
right.
apologize for my French earlier, Grandma.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's like, that's Steven!
I thought that was Darren. Then.
Washed out by
Didn't Darren say that earlier?
That's right. All right. So we'll take a pass on that. That's great. So I think we've covered a lot. Like the future looks good for Magnusmode. Hopefully we're going to see licensing. We're going to see new products. We're going to see all kinds of organizations that are partnering with you. Where can we find you if we want to follow your story as things unfold? I know you have a website because I visited that. Where else can we find you guys online?
Well, let me say the website just in case.
Sure.
www.magnusmode.com.
Okay.
You can also email me at Nadia, Nadia, at magnusmode.com. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Do you?
Find me there. Oh, and Twitter. At Magnusmode. And Facebook.com/Magnusmode.
Awesome. Perfect. And we'll put up some links to those destinations so people can find you and
Awesome.
follow you.
Find
and,
me, reach out to me. I love to connect.
Perfect. Awesome.
Go check out Magnus and the big red hat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll have to find a good picture of you in the hat that we can put up as well. That would be awesome. Well, let's wrap things up here, guys. That's about it for us today. So we'll throw one more special thanks out to Miss Nadia Hamilton for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been really fun.
Our pleasure. It's awesome. Thank you to Communitech for once again letting us record in their wonderful space here. And thanks to you, our listeners, for joining us for another episode of TSP Weekly. Please feel free to send us your comments, your questions, your criticism, your feedback. You can reach us at feedback. Yeah, we take criticism. It's all good. Yeah. You can reach us at feedback@tspweekly.com, or you can drop us a message on Twitter. We always love to have Twitter conversations. Our Twitter handle is TSP Weekly. So for myself, Darren Conley, my co-host Stephen Campbell, and from our guest Nadia Hamilton from Magnusmode, thank you so much for joining us here today, and we'll see you all again next week.
Have an aggressive week.
Exactly. Go, go, go.